Hello, Steve Mills here. I'm here on my results podcast and also on YouTube on my Straight Talking program, and it's great to be here. I'm here today with a lady called Bernadette Goudy, and I've known Bernadette for a little while now, and she's an expert in a real important field in marketing, I believe, around CRM, customer relationship management. In fact, it's in a way, it's more than marketing. It's about managing customers and making sure that everything that you do to do with customers is done in an organized manner. But more about that from Bernadette. Welcome, Bernadette. It's great to have you here. Thank you ever so much for your time, and looking forward to talking to you today.
Yeah, well, thanks, Steve. It's really great to be with everybody and with you here today. And yes, I'm Bernadette Goudy, and my company is called Ariga. And we've been mainly working in the membership, in the associations area for about 15 years now.
Yeah.
But lots of the areas that we work in apply to many businesses, including that term CRM, which sometimes throws people off track and think, gosh, what is it and do I need one? But yeah, we work, obviously most membership associations or organizations have one, and we've learned a lot about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I get asked often from people, what's a CRM? What do they do, and how can I use it? So I thought that might be a good question to kick off, really, just to make sure that everybody listening understands what a CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management, is. And these days there's obviously software to manage that. So, but fire away, if you would, just give people an overview of what CRM is, please.
Yeah, well, it's a great opening question. What is a CRM? I mean, here at Ariga, we like to just think about it as a way of managing your customers' details. And years and years ago, all used to be done on paper and in Excel. But you're right, Steve, the world of CRMs, or just a way of managing your customers. Let's sometimes forget the term CRM. It's a way of managing your customers' details and putting them all in one place. And a lot of people, you see it on Facebook groups. Do I need a CRM? Well, if you're managing customers or members or any number of people who you're interacting with in business, then you do need some kind of database. And that's really what a CRM is. It's a database of all your customers. But obviously, CRMs can do lots of things. But they are nowadays an integral part of most people's businesses, of membership associations, of clubs, societies, everything like that.
Yeah, brilliant analogy. I often say to people, look, you know, I'm a bit strong sometimes in my term. I think it's the Yorkshire in me coming out. I say you cannot run a business without a CRM. Come on, let's get professional here. You know, making notes on pieces of paper is sort of fine, but you know, if we're really going to, you know, fundamentally look after our clients. Which is, you know, it's not just about sales and marketing, which is, you know, I tend to use mine a lot for sales. You know, if a lead comes in, I add them to my CRM, I add myself a note to follow them up. And, you know, I can do things like, you know, set up an opportunity. You know, I think they're going to, you know, need a new website, which we've had a conversation about. So I can put that into the CRM system and I can see all my sales and all that sort of stuff is brilliant. But fundamentally, it's about that customer relationship, isn't it?
It is, and it means that you can manage your members, your clients, your customers in a really time-efficient way. Yeah. Because who hasn't lost a piece of paper? Who hasn't lost a notebook or a file or something? It just means because they're cloud-based, it means they're so much more accessible, not just to you, but for other people in your company. And a lot of companies also nowadays use VAs, virtual assistant, to also help them run their businesses. And virtual assistants are experts in also helping you to run CRMs and member management systems. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my business, it's actually a godsend because, you know, I'm the only one here in this building right now. I've got people working for me up in London. I've got a lady that works for me in Andover. And literally, particularly with the lockdown and everything, you know, I've not seen any of them for over a year now, you know, not physically.
Yeah.
We do Zoom meetings, but they can see what I'm doing. They can see if I've called such and such a person. I can set them a task to call that person next week and so on. So it's a central, I think there are two real hubs in my business. One is my website, where all my marketing stuff mainly comes into, and then the other is my CRM system, which again everything sort of comes into. So I've given you some, you know, what I think to it, but again, what would you say is the most important thing or key things about having a CRM? I just said you got to have one. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think in today's environment where people are very, very busy in whatever business that you've got, or they have lots of customer details like membership, gyms, those sorts of organizations do, it's a way of centralizing it, as you say, and also streamlining your workload. Because if you're very, very busy during the day, having things on pieces of paper isn't going to work for you. So putting them together means that you actually manage your customers more effectively, and they get the right sort of communication from you, because you can ring up and say, how was your holiday? You may want to type in things like that. Oh, how's your family doing, or whatever. You can also type in little notes, but it's a much more efficient way of managing your business, because there's different types of CRMs for the trades, people who work in the trades area, people who work B2B, B2C, membership. All these CRMs have different features: invoicing, following up of invoicing, diary management. And again, you've got to choose the right one that works for you. Nowadays, technology is key in any sort of business, startups, anybody. You've got to embrace that technology. And the point at which you need a CRM shows that your business, your membership organization, it shows it's developing.
Yeah, absolutely. It also saves, certainly for me, a lot of time, you know, because it's all, you know, I've got a lot of it automated, you know, and on the sales side, the forecasting, you know, I know how much money right now is in my sales ladder, as it were, and where people are. Have they made an inquiry? Have we arranged a meeting? Have we held a meeting? Have they done a proposal? And also gives me reports around my success rates, which is really important. You know, how many calls does it take me to get a meeting, and what is my meeting conversion rate? If I have a meeting with somebody, how many of those turn into sales and how many not into sales, so I can maybe improve in that key area. So there so many things for me that are really good. As far as, you know, your specialist area of associations is concerned, are there sort of specific association CRMs, or what do you recommend people use generally? I know it varies, doesn't it? You know, from one person to another.
Yeah. I mean, there's like there is in any in so many different CRMs available. And I think for membership organizations, again, you know, there's a huge range without naming too many. But, you know, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Steve. What you've got to think about is, what data have you got to put into it? And it's the same for any membership organization. And what is the insights that you want to come out of it? And I think if you weigh up those two things, so membership associations have lots of contact details, lots of activity of members happening in the association. They might attend events, they might log on to something, they might access their password. But what does that mean coming out of the other end of the CRM? What sort of reports? They probably want to look at engagement. They want to look at, has that member made the most of their membership in terms of what's their activity been over that year. It's the same for you as well. You're doing exactly the same thing. You're looking at the activity of your possible customers. Have you spoken to them? Have they got back to you? Have they responded? And obviously you can have website trackers. You know, have they actually visited your website? That can also come into your CRM as well.
Sure.
You know, there's lots of integrations which I see on different Facebook groups nowadays that people are using.
We use Calendly on our website.
Absolutely.
So you know, people come to our website, They go, do you know what? I'd like to meet with Steve. How am I going to do that? They click on a gold button. They open that up. They find the time and day, and then that automatically gets added into our CRM system, follows them up with an email, and then, you know, tells me that the meeting. So, you know, it's just, you know, for me, you know, the one thing I want to get out of this meeting is to get people using it, you know, get people using, as you say, some form of CRM. Now, I know like, you know, the big ones are places like, you know, Salesforce and stuff like that. But there are literally, as you said, you know, a mass of others. And, you know, for some people, you know, something like Salesforce is really useful. But I tend to think, you know, if you've got a Salesforce of 150 people, you know, then Salesforce CRM is the one for you. But there are lots of other smaller ones. I mean, you know, that are equally good. I know you recommended one to me recently, which we've signed up for, by the way.
Right.
So yeah, that's superb, and we're really using it. Throughout my career, I've probably used, you know, I've been doing this 26 years now. So, you know, I think I started with ACT and then moved over to, you know, another one and so on, and probably used about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them through that time.
I think you're right. When you start on your CRM journey, I think there's 2 key things to do. One is to see what's for free. What system can you use in the beginning that's for free? Don't pay anything.
Really good
point.
And
secondly, ask your colleagues who might be in a similar business to you, because there's different CRMs that cater for the construction area, that cater for insurance, that cater for membership. Ask other colleagues in that area, what are you using? How do you use it? And would you recommend it? And I think, but you don't have to pay anything for a CRM in the beginning. Or if you do, you know, the license fee can be very, very low. So again, don't think, oh gosh, it's going to cost me more money.
Me thousands or even hundreds. You know, it can be free, and it can be, you know, $20 or £30 or whatever a month, you know. So
and don't be put off if there is a small fee involved, because you know, sometimes you get extra features, or they might have extra plugins, like, you know, a CRM with a Calendly sort of plugin may cost you a little bit more. It's going to save you time.
Or an email marketing system that some of them have, you know, they're able to do that type of thing, and so on. So yeah, good. So what are your, I don't know, I'm going to ask you for 3, I'll be kind, I was going to say 5, but you can go 5 if you want, but 3 tips that you can give to help people who are, I don't know, they're either, let's divide it into 2. 3 tips for people who are thinking about CRM, but don't really know what to do. And 3 tips for people who are using a CRM, but are not really using it to their full, which sometimes happens, doesn't it? You know, I finish up using 20% of it, and you know, the rest of it I don't really know. So there's 6 things in total. Want to get some good ideas from Bernadette?
All right. Yeah. Well, let's look at the people who aren't using one at the moment.
Not using it. What do they need to think about?
So I think I've already alluded to something. Is 1, plan and ask around. Ask other people in your business what are they using. I think that's the number 1. 2 is think about the data you want to collect, because you know, I always say to people, it's about data in, usable information out. So what is it you're collecting about these people? Obviously, you've got contact details. And the other thing which is really important is that with GDPR, it's really important that you get your contact details out of paper-based systems, out of unprotected files on your desktop, your laptop, because, you know, in a cloud-based CRM, they're protected. So think about the information that you want to collect. What do you want to do with that? Is it for quotes? Is it for invoicing? Is it to track their activity? So I think sort of data in, what do you want to do with it out afterwards? And thirdly is, how complicated is it to use? Or really the other way should be, how easy is it going to be? Because I've heard loads of people say, oh, this is really difficult to use, or I could use it, but then my VA struggled, or whatever. Honestly, go for something that's simple. Go for it, because it's got to be simple. And if it's simple, you'll want to use it.
Do you know, years ago, I used to use Infusionsoft,
All right.
which has got the nickname of Confusionsoft.
Okay.
Maybe a bit harshly. It's not necessarily confusing, but it's very complex.
Yeah.
And you know, I've always really loved the idea of CRM and always recommend it. But quite a few people that I speak to or did speak to at the time would say, "Oh, shall I use CRM?" I go, "Yeah, definitely. What do you use, Steve?" And I'd say Infusionsoft, and they'd say, "Oh, I'll buy that then, shall I?" And I go, "No, don't buy that. Whatever you do, because you know they weren't at the level. You need to be at a fairly high level of digital awareness in order to use something so sophisticated." So I really resonate with what you've said there about, particularly when you're starting, you know, start off with something nice and easy. I often say to people, if I can do it, it's got to be simple. So
absolutely. And you're right. Who wants to use a system that causes you heartache or makes you not want to go for it? And you know, the people who are currently using a CRM, listen, rest assured that I've heard some stats that even some of the biggest organizations, they're only using 30 to 50% of the power of that CRM. So there is lots and lots of features that many organizations, companies don't use in their CRM. But it's a trade-off, isn't it? You know, you're using a CRM to give you something. So don't be feeling, oh, I'm not using that. Am I getting my money's worth? If it's doing the job really well for you. And don't power up too much. I say to people, don't power yourself up. Don't think, oh, if I got a CRM that did X, Y, and Z, I might use those features. 50% of the time, you'll never use those features. So it's better to aim for meeting your needs with some scope for development, but don't overpower yourself with a CRM that's really powerful, because chances are you won't use those features, not at this moment in your business development. And sometimes, you know, having lots of features makes you feel, gosh, I'm not using that. But focus on what you are doing and what you're using to make your business more streamlined and more efficient.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that. One of the things that I love about it is the ability to be able to access information on my mobile. You know, that is so cool, so that wherever I am, pretty much, I've got access to my clients. I know all their database. I can even, you know, look at my to-dos today or my meetings today, and you know, it's all there in front of me. And you know, I'm a massive believer in it. Honestly, if you're listening to this interview and you've not got a CRM, go and get one. If you're listening and you've got one, you know, go and have a look at some of the things perhaps that it can do that perhaps you're not using. But as Bernadette said, you know, the important thing is, you know, is it doing the job that you want it to do? And you know, I think that's really important. I also just wanted to talk briefly about, you know, customers, because, you know, I always remember years ago when I got started in this world of sales and marketing, I went on a training program with a guy called Jay Abraham. And it cost me about, I think it was $3,800, and we're talking like 25 years ago. So that was a lot of money back then. It was a hell of a lot of money. Then I had to get myself to America to go on the course, and he said that there were 3 ways of growing a business. And then he got towards the end of it, and he said, actually, there's another way that's even more important. He said basically the 3 ways were: get more customers, increase the average transaction value was number 2, how much they spend on average. And then number 3 was get them to come back more often. So the repeat business side of it. So CRM is perfect for all those 3 things. But then he said the 4th, often hidden strategy, is client retention, retaining customers. And I think that's one of the things that CRM systems enable people to do. And I suppose from associations point of view, it's member retention, isn't it? And you know,
and as you know, it's well known that in the association world, some people say that it costs 8 times as much to recruit a new member than it does to develop a current and retain. So I think there probably maybe not that amount, but you're right, those principles. You know, if you've got a customer who's happy, or who obviously people aren't going to buy your services maybe some of them it's once a year or once every, but who doesn't want to go back to someone who's given them great service and who's been very, you know, the other day I got an email with an invoice attached for some work I'd had done in my house. Oh, great. I was able to print it out here in my own house, pay it. And then 2 days later, I'd lost the invoice. And I thought, oh no, but I know where it is. It's in that email. And you're right, that's where it is. It's delivered to wherever you are. And in these times where most people are working from home or their home office, having things delivered to your device is really important as well. So you're right, retaining customers because it's part of that service that you're giving them. And a CRM just makes things an awful lot easier. You're not typing up details all the time. Everything's in there, the name, the address, it's all in there ready to go.
So the way we use that, for example, is we've got all our clients programmed in with a call. So we got all the calls, so I know I'm going to speak to my clients. I'm not going to leave it to chance. I'll call them when I'm free, because as we all know, we're never free. We've always got too much to do. But that's so important to me to keep speaking to people. And I think often it's the missing ingredient in this modern digital age. I'll message them on LinkedIn, or I'll send them an email, I'll text them, I mean, whilst I love all that, and as a digital marketer, I obviously do a lot of that, but I do think it's so important to be able to pick up the phone and so every day I go and have a look at who I've got to call today. Like right now, I've not actually been in there. I've been in a meeting before this, and then once I get started with what I call my day-to-day work, I go straight into my CRM, see what I've got to do today, see who I've got to call today, prioritize my list, and off I go. So it's fundamental to me and my business, and everything that I have to do. So if we've not convinced you now, I don't think we ever will, but go and get a CRM system.
Well, certainly start planning. Start planning and asking
you don't
around.
have to get the first one. Start thinking about it. Obviously, if you want to speak to me about it, or Bernadette, will give you our details, and we'll be very happy to give you our sort of take on it. Bernadette, thank you ever so much for your time in being here today. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for your experience and ideas and things. Much appreciated. If people want to get hold of you, whether an association's listening, or somebody who's looking for help with CRM, etc., what should they do? Well,
the easiest way, Steve, would be to drop you an email, because obviously they know you very well if they're listening. If not, they can find me, Bernadette Goudy, on LinkedIn. Or my email address is bernadette@goudy.uk. But the easiest way is just drop you a message or me a message.
And please give your website as well. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, it's www.arigateam, that's AURIGA
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. So as Bernadette said, if you do want to get hold of me, feel free to do that. Best way is through my website, steve-mills.com. And that's about it. So thank you ever so much once again. I hope you enjoyed our talk today, our interview, and again, go ahead and take action. Thank you ever so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.